What's going on, everybody? I am Grayson, and last year I did a video talking about the WWE in 2024, talking about who's going to win the big gimmick matches, the Royal Rumble, the Elimination Chamber, and also the Money in the Bank. And I'm back to do that again, because I feel like last year I took a lot of swings and I took a lot of misses, but I think in all my heart of hearts I had it fully down this year, and I'm also going to try to guess the WrestleMania main events at the same time. The Royal Rumble, especially the Women's Royal Rumble, is in an interesting situation right now because it's the most stacked the women's division ever has been. And last year we thought we were doing great, but this year it's even better because we have people that are waiting to get called up. Roxanne Perez is basically waiting for her call up at this point. She just lost the NXT title. She is waiting for her moment to shine. You have the New Japan women they just signed. You have Zarya, who they got from Australia. They are booming down in NXT, but also the main roster talent is also starting to uptick its younger talent. Tiffany Stratton just won the WWE Women's Championship off Nia Jax and the Money in the Bank. It's looking to be good. Lyra Valkyria is in position to win the IC title. As I'm recording this, she has not won it just yet. But like, a lot of young talent is booming, and you still have that remaining talent from this last generation with Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, etc. There's just that mystery of like, where do we go with this? Do we go younger? Do we go older? What do we do? And in my opinion, I think you go with Io Sky. I know a lot of people are like, well, there's Lyra Valkyria, like my buddy Caleb, who I host the Curb Stomp podcast with. He loves Lyra Valkyria, and he thinks that she is the Royal Rumble winner in his heart of hearts. But I think that she is set for the IC. Royal Rumble guarantees you basically a world title shot when it comes to the women's division, not a main event. We'll get to that in a second. But I truly think that Io Sky is the person you go from this. How do you get Io back into the world title picture when she's been in the mid card for so long? After her loss to Bayley at WrestleMania, you simply have to give her that big shot of adrenaline, and I think the Royal Rumble is perfect for her. And we also haven't had a smaller person win the Royal Rumble. Like, we haven't had Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, Io Sky, etc. Haven't won that. I think it'd be really interesting to see someone like that win the Royal Rumble, especially from the women's division. And honestly, I think that just Io is the best person to face Rhea Ripley at Mania, because I believe in my heart of hearts that she will be going after Rhea Ripley no matter what, whether she's on SmackDown or it's on Raw. The thing is that I don't think Io is set to go against Tiffany Stratton, and I don't think we're going to have a repeat winner, because I believe that Tiffany Stratton is likely going to face Charlotte Flair, if not someone else like Bianca Belair, or I don't know, someone else. She'll face someone that's not that is already established to get Tiffany more established with the fans, as if she's not already on top of the fucking world after Elimination Chamber last year and has just boomed ever since then. But yeah, I think Io Sky is your women's Royal Rumble winner. I think it's pretty cut and clear. I don't know of any major names besides if you really want to strap a racket to like Roxanne Perez would be an interesting choice, but I don't think we're at that point just yet. Editor Grayson here. I also think another name to look out for, and I didn't mention, but it kind of came to me while I was editing the video, was Jordynne Grace. I think Jordynne Grace is done with TNA at the end of January 19th, the last TNA event, TNA Genesis, and WWE is very keen on her, especially with the NXT appearances and her appearance in the last year's Royal Rumble. I think she's a good shot if they really want Jordynne Grace in WWE. I think it'd be really interesting. I think that's a name that I don't think a lot of people have thrown around, but I still do think Io Sky is the winner at this current moment. Now, your men's Royal Rumble, I think, is also quite simple. I think you make John Cena a 3-time Rumble winner. I understand a lot of people think Punk. I think Punk's a really interesting choice, but I also don't like, because I think Punk was supposed to win last year. I think that they made a call after he tore his pec, or whatever, his tricep, whatever it was. After he did that to make Cody the winner. I think Punk was supposed to win. And, you know, it came out better for all of us. But I don't think Punk is set for the Rumble. I think just simply John Cena is one of the most iconic Rumble members and winners of all time, especially the 2008 return. And I think with one final run, you have to guarantee him A, world title shot, and B, a main event at WrestleMania. I think I know he's doing this whole humble gimmick where he's like, oh, I don't need a main event WrestleMania. I don't need to do this. Fuck you. You're going to. Main event in WrestleMania. I don't care. It's probably against Cody Rhodes. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. I simply think John Cena is a shoe-in for the Royal Rumble. Now, the Elimination Chamber gets a little bit trickier. I don't exactly know where to go from here. We are so far from the chamber, and we haven't really gotten that much Rumble information. Or, the WrestleMania reports have been very, very unclear as well. It's just been a kind of clusterfuck when it comes to, okay, we go from Elimination Chamber, we go from the Royal Rumble to Elimination Chamber to probably set up Mania like they've done the last few years, and that's perfectly fine. I'm going to start the men here just because I think it's a lot simpler of an answer, and I think that is CM Punk. I think CM Punk probably needs to go through some more gruesome and grueling tasks. And I think the Royal Rumble, as much as it is grueling and tiring, more of a test of stamina than actual beat the shit out of each other type wrestling. And I think CM Punk, especially recently, has excelled at that. We saw that at Hell in a Cell. And I think going back into a steel structured cage may help him out. And I think actually it might just be better for him. I think might be safer. And I think CM Punk is set to go to Mania. I just don't know if I don't know exactly where he fits in the current moment. But I do think that he is due to win something big this year. Because last year he didn't win a world title, he didn't win Money in the Bank, he didn't win the Royal Rumble, he didn't win the Elimination Chamber. He didn't do anything besides face with Drew McIntyre. Not saying that's a bad thing, because that was an excellent feud. I just think that CM Punk is due for a reward. If that makes sense. He came back, and everyone thought they were going to strap him right away, and they didn't do that, and I'm happy they didn't. But I think he's expecting something at this point now, and I think it's time to give him to it, but I don't think you can make the obvious Royal Rumble situation. Now, the Elimination Chamber for the women gets a little more complicated. A lot of people think Charlotte's win the Royal Rumble and face up against Tiffany Stratton. Interesting. And then, you know, if she's not winning the Rumble, she's going to win an Elimination Chamber to face up against Tiffany. I don't exactly see it that way. I think that you have Liv Morgan back in the situation. Liv Morgan back in that position. I think Liv Morgan has hit another gear since 2024. I think she's hit another spot where she's really comfortable with her character. She can pivot into a babyface if she needs to, and she can do more with it that she hasn't been able to do, especially under Vince. With Triple H is kind of giving her free reins to do what she needs to do and get over the fans and become more beloved than she was even previously. And I think going after Tiffany Stratton, even if it results in her a loss, to put over Tiffany will get Liv Morgan a lot more momentum going into 2025. I don't really see a clear picture for Liv Morgan, currently speaking, when we're at the current stakes we're currently looking at. Like, it looks maybe white at 6, and I don't think that's a position you need to put Liv Morgan into. I think you need to pivot and put her somewhere else, because after that year, you can't put her back into a shitty situation. I think finally winning the Elimination Chamber after 6 tries, this will be our 7th try if she's in the chamber, will be an excellent opportunity for her to finally get that win, because that's well deserved. And second of all, keep her in that picture, because I think she's staying on Raw, and Rhea Ripley's likely moving to SmackDown due to Cody Rhodes likely moving to Raw due to Netflix demands and sending Gunther and Rhea Ripley to SmackDown, which is perfectly fine. I think getting Rhea away from the Judgment Day and Liv Morgan is better for all of us, and I think it will just set up Liv Morgan for better opportunities in the long run. And I think that goes through Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. And I think those two would have a nice, really good match. So, moving on into the WrestleMania main events. This was a little tricky. I kind of went off the basis of women get one, men get another, because that's how I think it should be. I think night 1, women, night 2, men, ladies first, all of that should be. If you can swap them if you want, I really don't care. But I think in the end, it is going to be Rhea versus Io. I think that is a money match. I think the only bigger match you can have right now in the women's division is Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. I think there's only 2 options right now. At the current state of how popular people are and how over people are, I think Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair might be the only bigger match, but currently they're not in the situation to do that. I think Io and Rhea could have a really good match. They had one back in NXT, and revisiting that, and they're very close friends, can make an excellent match. And I think finally give a woman another main event after how many years has it been? 37 was the last one. This will be the 4th year since the women have main evented at WrestleMania. It's an excellent opportunity to show how big the women's division has gotten over the last 2-3 years. And I think Rhea Ripley and Io Sky can show you exactly why they are in the position they are in now. They are in the top 3 of the WWE. In talent-wise, in promo, and everything, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley are gold. And the only other person in that conversation is Bianca Belair, in my opinion. The following night, or the other night, is Cody versus Cena. I think it's a passing of the torch when it comes to the babyface. I know that sounds weird when John Cena is like 46 and Cody Rhodes is like 38, but the wrestling timeline has shifted drastically over the last few years. And John Cena is probably the old era where like wrestling in your 40s is old. Like Rey Mysterio is considered ancient when it comes to wrestling in their terms. And Cody Rhodes is part of this new generation where like LA Knight was 42 when he won his US championship. Damian Priest is 41 when he won his world heavyweight title. It's just a new era of how the wrestling timeline goes. And I think Cody Rhodes is well set to wrestle until he's at least 45, in my opinion, if not longer. And it's just the passing of the babyface. If not, make Cody heel. Make that big heel turn and finally make him turn into... I don't want to say Homelander, but I think he's going to lose his shit after this Kevin stuff. So, I think that could be a great thing of John Cena slaying the beast that WWE has created. I think it'd be an excellent opportunity to make his 17th world title at the same time as give you a money match. Because, again, we're done with the humble shit, John. Just win everything, man. Because I think you deserve everything you've done over the last 20 years. Has given us everything. You've given us blood, sweat, and tears to us. And I feel like we just deserve to give you everything back in return, I guess. As much as you may not like Super Cena back in the era, he carried that era. With him and CM Punk was the only people I could think of that were absolutely making sure that era was solid as it was. And finally, we have the Money in the Bank, one of my favorite things of all time. I know a lot of people don't like it after the last few years, but I still think the Money in the Bank brings a lot of surprise and brings a lot of suspense to every meeting of world titles. If at the current moment, if Gunther goes down for a long time, hey, whoever has the Money in the Bank is just sitting back. They can come out at any time, get their world title shot. And I know a lot of people are like, Triple H likes to hold on to it for a long time. I still think the Money in the Bank is an excellent idea, and I think Triple H is getting better at it. I think the Io Sky and the Tiffany Stratton cash-ins show that he is willing to wait. I think that Damian Priest could have been better, but I think he's getting better since I think using Drew McIntyre's cash-in was as a story idea rather than just giving it to a guy who deserves the title shot like Damian Priest does is a good way to do it. Simply the Money in the Bank, and I believe, and I've always believed, it's for mid-carders to move up to the main event. Who do you believe can go from the mid-card to the main event? Who can be your next faces of the company? And that's exactly who I'm shooting for when it comes to this. I had 2 names when it comes to the women winning the Money in the Bank. One was Lyra Valkyria, but I think that she's at a point now where she can win the IC, and then a few months later she can go after the main titles. I think that she's doing great work, and I think that she doesn't need the Money in the Bank as much as some other people. I think I'm more accustomed to her and how she wrestles, how she moves, how she works. I think a lot of people didn't really understand that at the first when she first came to the roster, and now she's getting it. And I think a lot of people will be more on board with her getting an actual title shot by herself without using a gimmick like the Royal Rumble, the Elimination Chamber, or the Money in the Bank. That being said, my other choice, I think it's the best choice, is Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez just gave you one of the best women's NXT runs of all time. And she is literally the prodigy. I think it's about time to call her up. We know this. And I think using the Money in the Bank, giving her the Money in the Bank, and making her into an instant star is the way to do it. I think Roxanne Perez is... If she's not going to the U.S. title area immediately, she needs to be shot up with the rocket. Like, strap her to it. Because she will give you everything within minutes. She is one of the most complete wrestlers on the planet. and she can show you. She is charismatic. She is devious. She is small and compact, but she is feisty, and she can give you anything you want: heel, face, tweener, anything above, anything above. And she's only 23, I think. And I think the best way to capitalize on that is to immediately give her a title shot, whether it be U.S., the world, or whatever. Just give her a title, and she will make you so thankful that you did it. Now the men's is, I think, a lot simpler. I think it's someone who participated in the match this year, that being Carmelo Hayes. I think a lot of people are accustomed to Carmelo Hayes now, and they're starting to, at least. I think Melo is at a place in time where if they built him correctly and properly, he is the face of WWE. I think if, I know I said the passing the torch between John Cena and Cody Rhodes would be really weird, but if you really want to pass the torch down between babyface and babyface, like the biggest babyface to the next one, next full generation, I guess, jump would be Carmelo Hayes. SummerSlam match would be perfect for Carmelo and John Cena, in my opinion. Carmelo Hayes is just perfectly set up to be the guy in WWE. I know a lot of people like Braun Breaker, but I think Braun Breaker's a little limited by his moveset. I know that's never stopped anyone, as we've seen from John Cena, but I think that we're past the point where it's just be cool, do your thing. Braun Breaker's great. I think he's best as a heel. And I think when you're looking at a face of the company, you're looking more for a babyface. And it's usually been that way. I think the only time in the last 20 years it's not been a babyface was Roman Reigns for the last 4 years. And now we're past that point. It's Cody Rhodes. It's probably going to be that for the next 4 years. And I think Carmelo Hayes is just the next evolution of that. And I'm looking so forward to it. I think that he is the best person to hand that Money in the Bank briefcase and elevate him from the mid-card where he's been at, and he's been stirring against Andrade and LA Knight, where he's meant for so much bigger. And I know that. I know WWE knows that, but they're trying to build them up properly. I think they build them up enough where you can take advantage of it this summer. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I've been brewing ideas of what I could make, and I wanted to repeat this idea just because I think that I've gotten better at analyzing the WWE. I've gotten better at talking to the mic. I've just gotten better in general, and I just want to make this video to A, show that, and B, as well as just give my opinion on the next year. I think it's going to be an amazing year in wrestling. Will it top last year? Will it top 2023? I have no idea, but I'm really hoping that we just get to the next generation of wrestlers, and we show them, we show the next generation of wrestlers and who they are and how big they can be. But remember to subscribe, do whatever you may like. Let me know who's your chamber winners, who's your Rumble winners, who is your Money in the Bank, and shit, if you want to give me a main event, I'd love to see it. But thank you guys for watching. Until next time, bye bye.